There once was a story about a man who could turn invisible. I thought it was only a story, until it happened to me.
You're safe. You're at the agency.
Hey, I was just checking out The Invisible Man on DVD. Are you guys watching with us? We sure hope you are. Anyway, this is a really good episode this week. We have Ralph, the third episode of season 1, directed by Adam Nimoy. And, spoiler, Adam sits down with Vince, Paul, and myself to discuss this episode. And I think you're in for a bit of a treat. So first, before we get there, let's go over a little bit of the summary and explain what this episode's about, shall we? An FBI protected witness is killed in a forest, and the only eyewitness to the crime is a little girl who only speaks to her invisible and yet imaginary friend Ralph. Darian becomes Ralph to protect the girl and to solve the case. Honestly, come on. It's a fan favorite among the groups, as it were. And I think this episode of the podcast is going to fast become one of your favorites, too.
What are you talking about?
Wow. It's been 20, I don't know, 28 years?
Oh,
20,
wow.
27, 26 years?
27.
27 years.
Good
How
times.
How are you, Adam?
Very good. Thank you. Everything's great.
I was just telling Adam we're really glad to have him here, and it made sense to have him this early, in the season and the show, and the only episode he directed. So we're really, really happy to have you here.
Yeah. Why was that, Vincent?
I have no idea. I assumed you didn't want to do anymore.
No, I wanted to do more. I had a great time on the show. Yeah, you were a lot of fun to work with.
Oh my God, I loved working with you. What happened, I think, is the show. Mike McCafferty and I have different. The show came to a halt after this episode, and our executive producer Matt Greenberg was leaving the show. There was a shakeup, and then they were bringing in a new guy, David Levinson, and he came in, and we shut down for a while after this episode. And then he came in, and he said the first show he had to deal with was Ralph. But that's so, man, Adam, it was the first time I was the lead of a TV series. I had just had a kid. I was just trying to survive, and it felt like we were about to fall off a cliff the whole time.
Yeah.
But I just want to say to you, you were like me. You were like kind. I mean, there was something sort of gentle about you that I felt comfortable doing this episode with you. And the show was kind of jumping all over the place. Creatively was jumping it, and this show was Craig Silverstein's first script that he wrote. Now, I don't know if you've kept up with Craig Silverstein, but Craig Silverstein is now he's now running Percy Jackson and has done and created probably 10 television series. And this was his first episode that he'd ever written of television.
Yeah, pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, and it was my favorite. I've always said this, not that anyone's asked, but people involved with the show, it's my favorite episode ever.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad. Yeah.
It was that girl. Where did you find her? Did you find her? Like, how did you cast that little girl?
Yeah. Well, I was in on it. Yeah. Landry.
She was incredible.
She was.
I ran into her years later walking around Warner Brothers when actors used to walk around Warner Brothers for auditions. and she had grown up. She's like a teenager, but kind of the same incredible soul. And we talked about how much fun we had. Um, that's interesting.
Yeah,
God,
I would
it's
have come back, and I tried to come back, but it was Stu somebody, who's the guy who ran the studio?
Stu
Stu
Siegel,
Siegel.
Stu
but
Siegel, thank you.
Adam, he didn't have anything to do with it creatively. It
Oh,
was it was all moving over to the new guy who was David Levinson,
yeah.
and he had run a bunch of stuff, and I think he brought some of the directors that he had worked with
Well,
before.
that happens. Then the slots get filled up very quickly with people that they know.
Well, it was crazy because it was such a great episode. I
Yeah,
mean, it was such a and I don't know if you what the series. So there was the pilot, it was a 90-minute movie, and then the first episode was this very dark kind of X-Filey story, and then all of a sudden we're in Ralph, which is just such a brilliant way to sort of um, play with invisibility, and that all came out of the mind of Craig Silverstein, which, as
yeah.
I said, a lot of stuff came out of that guy's mind.
Well, you brought a
But
lot of color to that episode. I mean, there was a lot of, heartfelt drama, and you were very playful. I mean, you were talking about the fact that you had felt somewhat restrained by working with some of the previous directors about what you could do, how big you could be, how much you could let go and go over the top.
I
Uh,
was telling you that. I said that to you.
Yes, yeah, and I was saying like, man, just push the envelope, do whatever you want because it was all there, and I think it's a pretty good episode. But you're really the driving force in it. There's a lot of it's a lot of heartfelt stuff with Landry and then there's a lot of joking around with Paul Ben Victor. It's
Oh my
freaking
God.
great. You guys are
Oh,
just awesome together.
by the way, he's working right now, but I have to always bug him. Let me just send him a text really quick to see if he can jump on.
Okay.
Hey, Paulie, it's Vinny. Can you jump on? Adam's here.
I have to say too, this episode really, the tonal change between the Katavari and Ralph is night and day, literally, and not only in the tone but the lighting. The lighting really is the hero when it comes to this episode because it gives it just a fresh look and a fresh feel, and it doesn't feel like we're watching an X-Files ripoff. So I get that.
No, I just watched it rewatched it like 2 hours ago, and man, you really directed the shit out of it. Like you gave it some really simple camera moves. The 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 lighting at the very end when the keeper comes up, like
I have a note on that. That was a beautiful shot.
how you got it behind my head. Like, geez, it was incredible.
Well, we cheated a lot by putting light behind you. We would do that a lot. We would just flip flop the actors so that we could have, if there was some, sunlight behind them, we always try to get that. And so we always cheated that. That was an episode in which I was really beginning to feel like I had some sense of confidence about working in the art form of TV. I mean, I'm not sure where it ranks on I did about 50 episodes of network TV, but I remember on yours in particular, I was like starting to feel very confident about how to do it and what was important and how to work with a cinematographer and the importance of really working with collaborating with you guys, with the actors to make sure that we were getting something really good, and the cameras started to become more secondary and not as important. First time directors are just obsessed with where to put the camera. It's all about the camera. And we get very worried if stuff's going to cut together and not. And this is kind of an issue I had with Paul Ben Victor because, and he got a little pissed off at me because he didn't match anything from a master to coverage. He matched
Oh
nothing.
my God. I know. He never gave a shit about any of that stuff.
He didn't, and I did, and I tried to hold him to it, and he got really pissed off at me. And it wasn't until a little bit later when I realized that matching really is for sissies. It's just not that important. You're either going to be in one or the other, and you just cut around it and let Paul do his thing because he's so freaking amazing and funny, and and a lot of energy in his stuff as well. You guys played off each other really well.
Man, Ed's heard me say this, like we got so lucky. I got so lucky to have him and play with him. But Adam, it's exactly what you said. I, okay, so the first scene, We're it's the scene after the guy's been shot, and it's a crime scene, and Paul's showing up, and Shannon's there, and we're walking around. Paul hadn't even read the script. And I was like, well, this scene is sort of builds on this scene. And he's like, hey, just keep jamming this out with me. And I was like, Paul, like, you gotta, I was sort of saying, you gotta take this more seriously. You gotta know what this story point is, so it leads to this story point, so that the whole arc can lend in this story. He's like, Vinny, fuck that. He's like, fuck that. He's you play the scene, you
Uh-huh.
play what's happening, you play it truthful, and you let them figure that out later.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
and that's what he does. And it's
Yeah.
I'm still trying. Like there's an unpermissioned quality to Paul. I mean, maybe that's what talent is. Maybe that's just what talent is.
Well,
You
that's his process, and you got to respect it because it's done him very well. Not everybody does that. A lot of people are much more precise than that, and and matching is important, and they want it all to work and fit together properly. Paul was a much more kind of a shoot from the hip, intuitive kind of guy. You just got to roll with it, because he's so good and he's so
Oh,
freaking funny.
and and that funny and that humor and that intuitiveness, like I didn't have the confidence yet. I still don't actually. I mean, I'm still trying to get to that point where you just play sort of unabashedly. And but I was smart enough to recognize that if I didn't have him for my co-star, we probably wouldn't be doing the 47 episodes we did.
Yeah.
And they only had him for a year. I don't know if you know, like they never signed him for a full contract. So I was always like, please don't leave, Paulie, please don't leave. But I think he ended up. It was a great part for him too. But that humor, even in Ralph, like just that. There's a scene that you started when I'm in the van and you're on me and I think I'm I can't remember exactly. I think my Quicksilver's low, so I'm trying to chill out. And you started on me tight, and I'm like meditating, and then you pulled out just a little bit, and then he like pops his head in right over my shoulder. And it's classic comedy, but it's not too much. He knows exactly how to go up to that line
Yeah.
where it's too much, but he's one of those guys that's just really fun to watch an actor just having fun.
It was
Yeah. Well,
good
it's
timing.
also, yeah, his timing is excellent. It's also counterpoint to the heaviness and the drama of what's going on, with Landry and her life's in danger, and there's a killer on the loose. I mean, and we played that serious, we played it straight, but it's nice to have some kind of, some relief from that. And that's why just the whole mix of the show is great. The other thing, Vincent, is that it's like I had a lot of discussion with you about this, about the fact that sometimes you just wanted to cut loose and let go. And from a directing point of view, I got to tell you, it's better for us to say pull it back a little or cut around it even than to have to try to push you to get anything out of you. I can't stand doing. It's like when nothing's happening, there's no excitement. There's people feel restrained, or is it in character? Are they playing? Are the producers going to be happy? And all this other second guessing bullshit. And I swear I don't even want to name names, but I had this conversation with you specifically where you were like, sometimes I just want to cut loose, and I felt like, and I was restrained from doing that. And my attitude has always been like, do what you want to do and go as far as you want. We can always pull it back. Pushing you so much more work.
But Adam, I have to trust you. Like I was always scared that I would do something and I would be caught acting. Like that's the big thing. Like, oh my God, don't. But I developed a trust with Ed. Ed, like I'd never met Adam. Like he shows up and he's like, he's coming into this new world that we're still trying to kind of figure out. It's very fluid how it's moving. So it's hard to get trust quickly. But like I said, you just seem like a really good person and a
Oh,
really
thank you. Yeah,
and
I
and
appreciate
that
that.
that's always helpful for me to trust someone. But I remember, I mean, I saw it like in the episode. I was like, damn, like that was playful and it got. I mean, the truth is, I was always trying to kind of find that intuitive playfulness that Paul had within Darian's character, and and that's what I was always trying to find. But
You needed to be playful and open and and try to communicate with her in a way that she could understand. I mean, that was kind of the objective of the piece. Oh, there's the man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul and Victor. Oh my God, Paulie, Adam.
Paul.
Hey,
Hi, Paul.
we've been talking
Adam
about
Nimoy.
Yeah, I miss you, man. It's been too long.
Shit, I don't hear you guys. God damn it.
Oh no.
Well,
I
we can
hear
hear
you, but
you.
it's very low.
We can hear you. Then you turn the volume up, Paul. You just hit that button.
Is that the knob on the left or is it the
looks
one
like
on the right?
Which
Which one is the knob for the volume, please? Which one?
Can you hear
Adam.
us, Paul? Paul, can you hear us?
Well, I'm trying to wait. Let me try to get it on speaker. I hear it like in the background.
Oh,
Fuck.
you're on a computer.
This happens every time, right, Vinny? I
No,
hate it.
are you on a computer now? Because you usually do it on your phone.
I'm on my phone. I don't have a computer. Hold on.
A beautiful picture of your wife shows up.
Speaker. I got it.
Right.
Go ahead.
Hello.
So
That's okay.
Adam,
I'll edit that picture out.
Adam, remember you said to me, Paul, can I talk to you for a minute? Because I just finished doing Mo, and you said, you're doing Mo. You gotta not do Mo. Because I was doing Mo.
No, I could not have said that. You can do Mo. You can do whatever you want, Paul. We were just talking
No.
about. Yeah.
You literally said, Paul, you're doing Mo. I said, well, I just did it. It's kind of, I didn't give a shit. I said, okay, fine. You went, no, don't do Mo. It was hilarious. I didn't care. I probably kept doing it, but I knew I was doing it. I think I literally went, come on, what's the matter with you? Get out of here, Vinny. What's your name? Darian?
Yeah. Well, Paul, I was just talking about the
What's
fact that
going
you
on,
got.
Adam? You look the same.
That's what I said to him. Like, what is your skin treatment? Like,
What do you look at all the? Can't you see all this gray? What's the matter with you guys?
I have wigs like that. I have a couple of wigs exactly like you have, Adam.
Paul, I was talking about the fact that you got pissed off at me because I tried to get you to match yourself from the master of the coverage. And you were like, I don't work that way. And hello, you froze. Can you hear me?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you got all pissed off at me. And I didn't know until like a little later on in my career that I heard this quote from Lou Antonio, matching's for sissies. And he was right, and you were right.
Go, Antonio. Go, Antonio. No, you have to match. You absolutely have to match.
No, you do not.
And I told you I didn't want to match. See, that's the lesson.
Paul, that's where your magic is. Like, you don't worry about that now, do you?
100%. I try to match very much. I try, absolutely. It depends what you're doing. Hey, look, if you're doing our show back in 19, whatever that was, you just fuck around. I don't know. Now I'm a much nicer person now. I keep trying to tell you that. I'm much nicer, much more behaved. I behave on sets. I say but anyway, I try to do the best.
What are you
Adam,
working
that's
on?
hilarious.
What?
What are you doing? Where's my part?
Where should I'm working on a documentary, Paul. I don't know if there's no place for you at the moment.
Oh, Jesus.
What are you working on in Atlanta? What's going on?
I'm in Atlanta shooting a Justin Chon movie called, he directed a fabulous movie that went to all the festivals called Blue Bayou. And everybody's going to know his name very soon. He's a terrific director, terrific, very interesting movie it's called Tommy Karate, about a notorious crazy mobster killer in Brooklyn in the 80s. And I play Joey, one of his crew back in the 80s. And you'll see it soon, Tommy Karate.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
So
it's a period piece. When does it take place?
It's 80s-ish, but I think we're playing it more sort of contemporary just because of finance. It's very low budget, so they're not paying for, period cars. I think they're playing it more contemporary, just grungy a little bit. I don't know.
Now, I do have a question for Adam. We have established that you didn't get a chance to ever direct again for The Invisible Man, but I am curious, how did you get the gig at first?
Good question.
How did you get the gig to direct this episode?
I had a good agent.
And where were you, Adam? You said you directed about 50 episodes of television. Where was this in your development? Is this early?
I think it's probably the first 25 or 20, something like that, when I started to feel like I was doing decent work. Paul, I think I worked with you in Early Edition, which was before this episode. That's how I knew you.
Son of a bitch. You directed the Early Edition episode that I did?
Yeah. Kyle Chandler, yeah. So I think it was still early in it was probably somewhere before the halfway point. That's why I'm saying I felt a little more confident in the work I was doing, and that this is the thing. It's like the more I wanted to be collaborative and work with you guys and work with the actors, and then just hope the cinematographer can. I mean, I always had a shot list and I always worked everything out very carefully. I had an edit list, but it became clear to me, and I had a lot of conversations with my dad about this, that what's going on in front of the camera is so much more important than any camera angle, that people will forgive bad camera angles before they will bad story or poor performance. So, and that's why, I was really feeling comfortable about working with you guys and trying to get something going, and frankly, first season is great for guys like me, because then we're creating something together. We're collaborating together. We're making the look of the show and the beginning the arc of the characters, and there's really stuff to talk about. When you come into a series, my first gig was on The Next Generation, Star Trek. They'd already been on for 5 seasons, and there's no discussion about. I can't tell them anything about their character they don't know inside out. There's very limited creativity. So that was the other kind of like really great thing about working with you guys, is like it was brand new and we're recreating a whole new world.
Yes.
I know Mike McCafferty would be really excited to hear about the TNG stuff. I know that he had questions about that in Babylon 5, that you had directed 3 episodes of that. And I know that he had questions to ask and things that he wanted to ask you on set, but he didn't want to bother you with the questions. But I know he had a lot of questions. I hope that one day he has the chance to ask all of them, but I do know I want to take the moment on behalf of Mike to express his admiration for those episodes, as well from me.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. The other unsung hero here is Eddie Jones. I mean, that guy was freaking amazing. I love Eddie Jones. I love that guy. I don't know how he ended up on the show. I mean, we were really lucky to get him. Really lucky.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. Like, I hadn't watched the show for a while. We got Paul Ben Victor, and then we got Eddie Jones, and then we found Shannon Kenny. Like, it was.
Yeah, Shannon was fabulous too. It was amazing. It was a good
combination. She wasn't in the pilot, Adam. That was only her second episode.
Oh, is that right? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. She'd been in San Diego for like 10 days when she started shooting this episode. Like everything. But Adam wanted to come back and direct more. And he's like,
Paul said no. And Paul, you nixed it apparently.
Yeah, right.
Paul, I
remember. Yeah. No, what happened? You wanted, and they didn't.
I wanted to come back, but for some reason there was no availability. And what Vince was saying was that a new producer came in and they bring their own guys. They always do that. They bring their stable of guys who are looking for a gig, and people like me get kind of squeezed out of that.
The episode Adam did was called Ralph, and that was the last of the. That was the first. David Levinson had just come in, and his first job was to. I think he recut Ralph. Did he change it very much from the way you're direct? How does that work, Adam? Just so people. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting.
Well, they have final cut, but again, I mean, I work really hard with the editor. I don't split. A lot of guys are too busy and they take off. We're not required to be in post-production with the editor, but we are entitled to 3 days with the editor. And I usually take those days because I want the show to look the way I shot it. I mean, I really think hard about camera angles and cut lists and how it should flow and transitions and all that kind of stuff. So, but it looked okay to me. There was nothing glaring to me that I can't remember, from whatever, what did you say, 30 years ago, 20 something?
27, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, it all looked okay to me, but this is the whole thing. It's like I'm delivering film that's specifically to be cut a certain way. I wasn't one of these guys who just hose the whole thing down and hope the editor can figure it out. A lot of people do that. They just shoot a master and they cover the shit out of it and hope the editor can figure it all out. And but that was never my. I was trained by a guy who was like, no, 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 we don't work that way. There's a specific cut order to everything that I did. And we always try to get oneers, and we have some in that show where everything is in one shot and there's nowhere to cut to. But you got to keep the action flowing, which you guys were very good at as well. And you have to have a dynamic camera. I mean, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. But again, with more experience, it's about collaborating with you guys, making sure what's happening on the page is jumping off the page, that we're reaching higher than what's on the page, that we're shooting for objectives, that we know, what you guys want from one another. You know what I'm saying? Just to get something going.
well,
One thing I'm sorry, I wanted to
No,
ask
no,
really quick. When you're
okay.
talking about coverage, your coverage was wonderful, specifically in the action scenes, the fight scene between Darian and what was the Anders, the bad guy at the end, Tucker Smallwood's character. I know that, although I assume that they were stuntmen, but the coverage was so well you couldn't tell. Um, Really good on that. No indication of stunt work, unless Vincent, you did your own stunts.
I don't think so. I
I
don't.
was going to say, I was going to say, really good work because I watched that back 4 times, just trying to find some indication of the stuntmen, and I didn't see it.
Hmm.
Well, I learned the hard way about stuff like that. I mean, I shot an Outer Limits episode, and we were really light on coverage. When there's stunt work, you just got to shoot the shit out of it, and just and get as much film as you can. I learned that from Don Johnson. I shot Nash Bridges in San Francisco, and it was very clear to him I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. When I was great on the interiors with him, but when we got on the street, this is a guy who done Miami Vice for 100 years. So I learned a lot from him about
Right.
with the camera and how much coverage to get. So we got lucky. It was a well-written episode, and we had a good guest cast, and everybody was into making a good show.
Paul, this was Craig Silverstein's first script,
Ralph.
Ralph. And
Wow. I wish that. Yeah.
and you and I,
We had some fun in the woods, right? Wasn't that from Ralph?
Yeah.
In the forest?
yeah,
Right.
but I'm kind of mean to you in the episode. Like I forgot that they're making this joke about your mental illness, or you're on what is it? You're on
Lithium.
you're on lithium or something, and
Yeah, the other FBI guy kids him about that.
yeah, they call you lithium Bob or something. I mean, it was, and I'm sort of mean to you too. And we kind of it's contentious, but
It's funny as hell. But,
well, what's funny
Paul
is
gets on, he's
I'm
like,
sort of-
Paul gets on he's like communicating with you from the van. He's going, "What's your sit rep? What's your sit rep?" It's like,
Yeah.
like what the fuck is that? I don't know.
was that in the script, or is Paul making that up? Was that in the script?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, Paul, that shit when you're in the van with your 1999 headphones, it's really funny.
What's your situation, rep? What's your situation, sit rep? Your situation.
It must
One of
have
my
been
favorite lines was when he referred to you as Harvey. And at first I was like, oh, Jimmy Stewart. And the first thing I thought about was the Jimmy Stewart movie. And I thought, how many people caught that? How many know about the 6-foot white rabbit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a good one.
Craig Silverstein did.
Good writing.
Can't believe that was Craig's. Probably one of his first. You're going to get him on this as well, Vinny?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to roll out the start. I mean,
Slowly.
I was gonna see, but I know he's busy. I don't know if you guys know he's running Percy Jackson right now, so I think he's kind of swamped. But yeah, I think
Adam Nimoy, what are you up to? What are you writing and directing?
I'm working on a documentary about Bob. Working on a documentary about Bob. Bob is a good friend of mine. He has been living with my ex-wife for the past 18 years. He is a little older than me, and he's had an incredible career in the recording industry. He's a bass player. And tomorrow, in fact, I'm going to be
Yeah,
interviewing.
I'm looking at all your
This
vinyl back
guy.
there.
Oh,
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite albums which you're holding right there. We could have a conversation about,
Oh my God.
you know, late.
I'm interviewing him tomorrow because Bob's been playing with Jackson for about 30 years.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, Bob's been with everybody. He's been with Crosby, Stills and Nash, and he's been with John Fogerty. He played on Donna Summer's hits. He played with Rod Stewart. He's played with Dave Mason. The guy's been Linda Ronstadt, Stevie Nicks. The guy's been everywhere.
What's his last name? Bob.
Glaub, Glaub.
I know that guy. I've
he's been
seen
good.
him.
Wait,
I've seen Jackson Brown a half a dozen times. I'm sure I've seen him.
Then he's been with them. Yeah.
Yep.
And Bob's in a relationship with your ex-wife, or
They've been living in sin together for the past 18 years.
And so obviously you're still cool with your ex-wife, like.
Yeah, we're very close. We have 2 kids together, incredible kids, and they met Paul in Chicago when I was shooting that early edition show. And I'm really, close to my ex-wife, and she's been with Bob, and he's one of my best friends because I'm a music fanatic, and Bob is just he's a great guy. He's a great guy to hang with. We were just went together to see. I was out in New York last year for 4 shows of Jackson. I went to all of them. Bob's been with Jackson. He's amazing with him on stage. And just this last weekend, Bob and I went to see a guy named Peter Asher play at downtown LA. Peter Asher was in a combo, Peter and Gordon, back in the 60s. Peter Asher was
produced by the Beatles.
He was the A&R guy for Apple Records, yes. And then he produced produced and managed James Taylor for his first album. And Linda Ronstadt for all her breakthrough albums. And Bob worked with Peter, and we went down there to see him. And he's just a great guy. He's fun to hang with. I've been interviewing, incredible people. We got Graham Nash a few weeks ago, and we're trying to get John Fogerty when he finally gets off the road to sit for us. So it's a documentary about. It's not a straight documentary. We're embellishing it with a lot of AI and recreating dramatizations of his life. It's not straight documentary stuff because no one really knows or is going to care about Bob. But the work that he's done is phenomenal, and we're going to have some fun with it.
I
love it.
That sounds fucking
Thank
awesome.
you.
It makes me care about Bob.
I want to make a documentary about a guy who makes a documentary about his ex-wife's like this. The relationship you have with Bob is very interesting to me.
We're thinking about maybe adding a little bit of that element to it.
Fuck yes,
because the thing is, Bob has been a mentor to my boy Jonah is in a band called The Offspring.
Wow.
And they're huge internationally, and they're twice his age. Jonah joined as a sideman, and Bob mentored him about what to do and what not to do as a new member of a touring band. So, it's one big extended family, and there are some funny elements about me being. We're always doing a comedy routine. Because Bob's just fun to hang around with. And there's a kind of funny element to the fact that I'm making a documentary about the guy who's living with my ex-wife.
No, and it sounds like everybody loves Bob.
Everybody loves Bob. Everybody loves Bob. It's amazing.
What does your son play in the band?
He plays guitar, keyboards, and percussion. He's been with them for 9 years. They've been all over the world, endlessly.
And your son's a prolific, sounds like a seasoned player of all those instruments.
Well, he's a talented kid, and he's gotten a lot of experience being with these guys. I mean, it's crazy. I was on the phone with him. They were in touring Europe, and I said, "How's it going?" He says, "It's good. It's great. It's my dream come true. It's horrible. It's a nightmare, and I don't know how much more of this I can take because it's such a breakneck pace. What they're doing." It is. He said, basically, my job, I make a living at traveling for 6 hours a day with a group of people and then picking up my guitar for 90 minutes to tens of thousands of screaming fans. I've been to these shows. It's freaking insane. This is a punk band, and they've got like a dozen hit records, and the crowds just go freaking insane.
Yeah, punk. It's not folk music. Right.
My God.
I love it.
I do like The Offspring. Oh.
Yeah, they're fabulous. I've loved those guys since they started writing hits when Jonah was 2 years old. I've been a fan of the band for 30 years. And I'm still trying to reconcile the fact that my kid is like tight with these guys. And I've been to Madrid with them, Lisbon with them. Last November, I was in Paris and Hamburg with them. It's such a freaking trip. And they're just fabulous.
The crowds are average what size? 10,000?
Well, when they're playing solo, they can get an average of about 20 to 25,000 people. But they play on these music festivals like Hellfest, it's called, in France and Germany. So it's a 3-day festival. There's a bunch of bands on the bill. There's a freaking 100,000 people out there. 100,000 people. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's what keeps them going. What's really Jonah was telling me that he was tired. They were getting at the end of the tour. They were in the middle of nowhere in the south of France about 2 weeks ago, in the middle of nowhere on a farm somewhere. And he said, the minute we took the stage, the place exploded with energy. And it just lifts everything gets lifted. And the interesting thing about this, you guys, and I want to tell you that it's so fascinating to me, is just like you guys, they're in the moment. It's about the moment. Yeah. Nothing else matters. They don't phone it in. They leave everything on the stage when they walk off. There's nothing they take with them, everything. And it's the same thing of working with guys like you. It's like, you got to be present. And I was teaching film school for years, and I would tell my students repeatedly, when you are tired and you are hungry and you really need a bathroom break, that is when the assistant director says these words: roll camera. And you just got to be on it, and focused. Yeah. And that's why, I really appreciate what they're doing. My kid's a real professional. He'll say, like, look, it's 5-star hotels. It's limousines. They keep restaurants open all night for this band. These guys can do anything. I mean, they're real rock stars. However, my son tells me, if in the morning when it's time to go, if I'm 10 minutes early, I'm on time. If I'm on time, I'm late. And if I'm late, I'm fired. Because it's like they're just pure professional.
Wow.
So it's very exciting for him, and I'm excited for him. And, it's just so interesting how it paralleled the work I did in TV and the work I'm doing now about trying to stay professional and do good work. That's what it's all about. That's what the whole thing with my dad and Star Trek was about. It's like they didn't fucking know what they were making. They had no idea. Right. All they did was try to do good work every single day.
Yeah.
Right.
And here we are 60 years later, and there's, and it's just, it's this all the time, everywhere. This guy's everywhere. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I love it. Hey, how old is Jonah, Adam?
He's 34 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been with them since he was 25. And he got lucky. It was just that he was ready for them. And they were in Rome, and they had an emergency, and they called out to people, and a friend of his knew the band, and he flew to Rome, and that was his first show, and then he played in Prague, and they just never let him go.
Wow.
Yeah, because my kid was a complete failure in school. The guy had a no homework policy. I couldn't get to do a stitch of homework, but he always had a guitar around his neck, or he was playing drums. He started with drums when he was 8, and he was a shredder on guitar when he was 11. So he had the talent, but he just got so freaking lucky.
Did you play? Did he see you playing?
I played, but that kid surpassed me and my skills when he was 11 years old. I can't tell you how annoying that is. I mean, it's amazing, but it's annoying, and, his sister would be doing homework, always handed everything in on time. I was always helping her with her homework, and he'd waltz in with his guitar around his neck. Dad, listen to this riff. Listen to this riff. It's like, dude, go do some homework.
Adam, what does that feel like when you've gone overseas and seen him in a concert, like what as a father, what does that feel like knowing that?
I'm a fan. I'm the idiot on stage left, jumping. That's where he stands, jumping up and down like doing the pogo thing, like a punk.
Yeah.
Fan. I'm a fan, and I'm just a fan of the band. Look, I'm so proud of this kid. It's unbelievable. I mean, he's learned a lot about the decorum, about the protocol, about professionalism, and again, a lot of it goes back to Bob because Bob mentored him and said, "Dude, these are the do's and don'ts. Like, stay in your lane." Stay focused, service the band. You are a side man. You are not a founding member of the band. Don't pull the rock star bullshit. But he also said, you should be traveling in the same class internationally with the rest of the band and not in coach. You should ask for that. So it's a very careful dance about. I mean, same thing about directing. It's like I don't want to. You want to get asked back. That's the whole name of the game for directors. Get asked back. And what I found out was, like, even though I did a lot of good shows, like with you guys, circumstances were just such that there was no room for me to come back. That happens. Those slots are coveted by, a big group of people. It's a very privileged situation. And Mike Chiklis, I was trying to get on the Shield. And I knew the DP, I knew the AD. I met Michael Chiklis at your house, Paul, at a party. And I bumped into him in Century City, and I talked to him about trying to, getting a director's gig. And they had one slot open for the rest of that season, and it went to David Mamet. I mean, I can't compete with that. These slots are really, really hard to come by because a lot of people everybody wants to direct.
Adam, I know that you had expressed you had an out time with us, and we're approaching that.
Yes.
But we're more than welcome to keep you forever. But I do want to ask one more time, just one more question. The Bob documentary, when can we expect that maybe in the future?
Well, here's the deal, Ed. There's 3 rules of filmmaking: fast, good, and cheap. It's going to be cheap and it's going to be good, but it will not be fast. That's just the way it works.
That's a good enough answer for me.
It's going to be a while. I mean, right now we're just focused on getting interviews in the can, and we've gotten a lot of them. A lot of Bob's colleagues, sidemen who are very successful, interesting guys. So I'm hoping by sometime next year. But I certainly don't want to leave without getting some information on on you guys, because I would love if you're in LA to get together with you, to have coffee, to shoot the shit.
Let's hang out in that room right there with all that vinyl behind you, because that's major. I mean, Vinny will tell you, I'm a major lover of. I grew up actually playing drums. That was going to be my thing, but anyway, jazz and old school rock and roll. That album, Under the Falling Sky, is one of my favorite songs of all time. With that bongo riff going throughout it. Isn't that the one with the?
Yeah.
I mean,
Under the Falling Sky, exactly. Yeah, from this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that's one of my favorite albums. My brother was he turned me on to, it was the old Bob Dylan, Jackson Brown, Joni Mitchell days, and I'm a huge fan of that album. That's oof.
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting with that guy for an hour tomorrow interviewing him. I've been a fan of his since I was in college, since that album came out in the early 70s. So, it's been
he played on the whole album.
No, Bob is not on this one. Bob didn't come in with Jackson till later. He plays on a hit that Jackson had called The Pretender.
How about Late for the Sky? Was he on that album?
That was before Bob.
Okay, The Pretender.
Bob's been in his touring band for the past 10 years. And then Somebody's Baby, that's another hit of Jackson's that Bob plays on. Of course. And Shape of a Heart, that's another one of a minor hit for Jackson, but Bob plays on that. They've been together a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Jackson
definitely looking forward to this.
Adam, I would love to hook up.
Adam, I have a 4.5-year-old.
Oh, Paul, congratulations! That's crazy.
I have a 4.5-year-old daughter, so if you need one in one of your shows, let me know. She's a performer.
Oh, that's wonderful. So
Adam, are you teaching? Did you say somewhere?
I was at the New York Film Academy for almost 10 years out in Burbank. And in New York.
And that must have been a bit of a fulfilling experience. You had real students, or you had a bunch of.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
If they weren't in Burbank, I'd still be there. Amazing experience. Amazing. I knew just enough, Paul. I had just enough experience directing TV shows to fool them into thinking that I knew what I was talking about.
Well,
you knew what you were talking about.
exactly.
Come
You know.
on.
That was great. All right, listen,
Well-
I got to sign off, but
But before you go, real quickly, we were talking about earlier with the show, like the pilot was one thing, then the next episode was dark, and then you did Ralph. So the show was trying to find what it wanted to be. Paul in a way just knew. Paul knows who he is, and like that as an artist, that's what he brings. He brings 100% of Paul Ben Victor to it. Me, I'm still trying to figure it out. And part of this project is me kind of revisiting the old show and making it more the way if I could redo the show, this is how I would do it. And I brought all the parts that I loved of the old show, and then I changed all the parts that I wanted different. But if we get a chance to make it, I would love for you to be a part of it in any way you want it to be.
I would love to. You kidding me? I would love to. Yeah, absolutely. I'm open to any possibilities.
So and
It's very exciting.
So it'll start with us showing you and see what you think.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If you have some ideas. Okay.
All right. So Vince, call me, text me.
I'll do it tonight.
Paul, great to see you, man. You look great, and congratulations on your daughter. It's amazing.
Thank you. To be continued. Thanks.
All right. And
Thank you for your time, Adam.
Good to see you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Well, guys, that was great. And yeah, I'd spoken to him a little bit before we started about that record collection. I had him for a little bit and admiring it. I was just, that's a room I'd like to be in.
Oh my God. I love
What
that
a life. What a life he's had, huh? I mean, that's another, you could interview him, what was it like being 6 years old and your father was Adam Nimoy? I mean, you can't deny that and can't hide it. And, it's the elephant, the wonderful pink elephant.
This is a documentary he did that I recommend checking out. This is Adam Nimoy's documentary about him and his father. And it's all about them. And it was the final days of his father.
Wow.
It's really good. It's really good.
Drawers, I love it.
Ed, thank you so much for hosting.
I love.
Yeah.
But if my father, he's more than an actor. I mean, he was a superhero actor. What do you call a iconic legend? Icon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's fabulous. God, he's terrific. You want to hang out with that guy? He's cool.
We're going to. I mean, that's how I felt too. Wouldn't it be fun to play with him on a set? Like do something?
1000%. And he's clearly filled with just creative, worldly energy, advice. He's taught. Sounds like he's had a great career the last, doing all kinds of things other than directing.
He was a fucking great director too. Like, so again, I rewatched the episode that he directed, and there's a scene, I talked about this earlier in the podcast, where it's tied on me and I'm like meditating because my Quicksilver madness is coming, and it's kind of serious. And then he pulls back a little bit and I'm in the van, and then he pulls back a little bit more, and then you pop open the door and like your head comes like right into frame, and you're like, this bothers me. And you're like, you say some like detective gobbledygook stuff, and I'm just looking at you like, would you just get the fuck out of my face? And then you shut the door. Really, like, comedy, just like, I want to what you had to have worked it out because the timing was perfect, but then the scene ended and the door was still there, and I was almost 1,000% sure you were going to reopen it again and pop it up, but you don't. But I think Adam knew that. But
I expected it too. You're not alone.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Getting
That's
Adam,
funny.
I was really glad that he responded. He started following me on socials a few months back, and we interacted a couple of times. So
amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, I reached out over the weekend. He sent an email. We talked to each other yesterday on the phone, worked it all out. So.
Oh, he's in. So Paul, I'll give him our information, and you know, let's get together with him. I would love that. Next week, Tiresias, is that what it
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know who Tiresias was until I went and saw the Odyssey last night. Have you guys seen it?
I have not, but I'm hearing it's kind of taken by storm. Yes, I've heard good
Oh,
things.
it's epic. Like it's big, and it was great. I didn't know I knew that parts of that story, but I didn't know it all together. So it was kind of cool to learn that. I woke up thinking about it a lot. I mean, yeah, like come on, that guy's incredible. Like
What's the story? Who's the
uh,
guy?
it's this guy, it's the Trojan War and the Trojan horse, and
Oh,
he's trying to get back home, but he keeps running into the Cyclops and the sirens and the monster. It's kind of classic hero's journey, this guy trying to get back home and all these obstacles in his way. And
okay.
Matt Damon's incredible. And did
We're
you see
always
it,
trying
Ed?
to get
Can't
Matt
be.
Damon home.
We are. Have you seen it, Ed? The movie?
No, but I've read the book when I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I was just thinking, Paul, like I know you're busy, so I really appreciate you showing up for these. It's always so much fun.
If I can be here, if I can be, this is actually a good one because I have a late call tomorrow. So I said, oh, I can hang and do this. Fuck yeah, it's great.
Okay.
So awesome.
Paul,
And
if you're
then,
in Atlanta, we're on the same time zone right now. So,
Where are you?
Ohio.
Ed.
Ohio.
Oh, Ohio. Well, yeah, what's that near?
Well,
I'm kidding.
Michigan. India. But no, no.
No, but
I
I'm
dated a girl from I dated a girl from Ohio once, and I brought her back to Manhattan to my mom's apartment in Greenwich Village. My cousin Mitchell was there, and he's a sarcastic guy, and this lovely, sweet little redhead. And she's, "Where are you from?" She was, "Well, I'm from Ohio." And he went, "Oh yeah, what's that near?" He's a Brooklyn guy.
Brilliant.
Oh, I love it.
And what's that near? He's a Brooklyn guy. It was so good. And I've used it any chance I can. So here you are. What's that? I had to say it.
It's kismet. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate this. It's been wonderful, and we'll see each other next week.
Yeah. Ed, how lucky are we or everybody is to have you,
great.
committed to this.
Oh,
This wouldn't happen.
So grateful, Ed. And
Oh, yeah.
Paul, I gotta tell you, so I go to bed, I watch TV, and I show up, and then you're just going, it's you talking. Like he's edited it just great. And he's made it entertaining. Like when we're not blabbing on, like he's edited like really tight. So,
Great.
all right,
That's good.
right.
Paul, crush him tomorrow as usual. Oh my, I'll tell you, we got to get together with Adam. He was talking about how incredible you were. Like before you got on, it was all about just what a special actor you are. All right. Thank you again.
Nice.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
I thought it would be fun to add in a little bit of trivia to this episode before we say goodbye. There are some interesting things of note about this episode that we did not get into discussing, so I want to touch base on those a little bit here. And they're pretty good. Check this out. First off, Tucker Smallwood. Okay, guest star, he's playing the bad guy in this one. Anyway, he has been in 10 plus episodes of Star Trek throughout the years. If you're a Star Trek fan, you're going to appreciate that. He has been on Voyager, he's been on Enterprise, but keeping with the Star Trek connection, shall we? Landry Albright, who plays Jessica in this episode, also has a bit of a Star Trek connection, whereas in season 1 of Star Trek Picard, she played the Chop Doc in the episode Stardust City Rag. In fact, her character was the one that was torturing Icheb, eventually leading to Jerry Ryan's character having to put him out of his misery, as it were. Anyway, really good Star Trek connection in there, considering the fact that, our director of this episode is Adam Nimoy, who I don't even have to tell you his Star Trek connection. Also, Landry Albright also played the role of Casey Poe in the movie Con Air, which I thought that was amazing. That's really cool. So yeah. Anyway, lots of really good trivia. I love a good Star Trek connection. Anybody who knows me knows I love Star Trek, so a good Star Trek connection is always, worth mentioning. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you feel inclined, please like, subscribe, share, tell all of your i-maniac friends. Let them know. We need to get the word out. We need you. We need more agents in the agency. Until then, see you next week.